Welcome students. In today's class, we will begin with a new topic, right, called as files. File basically is nothing but it is a collection of records, we can say. We can give different definitions to the files. One definition could be what? A file is a collection of records, right? Collection of records which are basically stored on a permanent storage device. Or we can again say in another way that a file is what? It is some type of a place where data is stored on, we can say data is stored on secondary memory device. Secondary memory device means the permanent storage area, right? Now, you can give the example as any Word documents, any C program files which you write in order to execute the programs, right? All these data, what it contains a collection of records or collection of data which is stored on the secondary storage device or a secondary memory devices. Now, why do we store the data on secondary memory? Can anyone try to answer? What is the necessity of secondary memory devices? You might have already studied in first semester, right?
Store permanent data.
Store permanent data. Why storing the data permanently is it necessity? Why there is a necessity of storing data permanently?
For future reference.
For future reference. Very good. Okay. Now try to just understand the programs which we have written so far, right? We could have written C programs like, say, for example, file.c. We could have written file.c, and then we could have compiled the program, say gcc file.c, and compilation is successful. Once assume that compilation is successful, then we go for an execution ./a.out. Once we do this ./a.out, that is once we start with the execution, it may ask certain input output, right? It may take some perform input output operations and it gives the results. Once it gives the results, and as we close the application, so application means, for example, here if I close the terminal, what will happen? Whatever result I have got by executing the program, all those results or the information is gone. Nowhere that particular data is stored on any particular file. That particular information which we obtained as the result, it is not basically, I can call it as, it is not permanently stored on the computer. We will eventually lose all the results here. Do you think that it is a problem of not storing our results onto a permanent storage device? Suppose if we are writing a program and the result of that particular program are required in future for certain analysis. In that case, if we just simply write a program the way how we have writing so far, right, wherein input output operations will be performed on the terminal and it will give us certain results. Once the results are there, all the data or all the input and the output, whatever it has presented, is gone. In other way, let me try to show you, demonstrate you. For example, okay, consider this particular swapping of numbers. Okay, let me run the program. It prompted the output. Okay, let it prompt for the input operation, enter two numbers. I just pressed 15 and 20 and I just pressed enter. Now it gave me the output here. This is the input which I entered and this is the output what I got. Now this is what a console application, right? The output environment. Now, if I click on the close button, I will lose the output here. The result is been gone. In future, suppose tomorrow I want to see what was the output of this program which was generated. I have no clue about that. because whatever the output was given, it was on the RAM memory. It was only available in the primary memory. As and when I just close that application, it went off. Now, to overcome these problems, wherein if we want to store the results onto a particular file, then we can use certain concepts called as files. Files can be used not only for storing the results, but also for providing inputs to the programs. Like the way I showed you here, when I executed this particular program, it asked me to enter certain numbers. Right? Now let it see, enter 2 numbers. Now here what I'm doing, I'm pressing certain numbers. I'm just typing certain numbers here, 2 numbers. Now how these numbers are given, how the input operation is performed by entering the number through the keyboard. But here I'm writing a program. I don't want to type these particular numbers. Rather, I want to provide the input again from the file. Right? That also can be achieved by implementing files concepts in the C program, wherein the data is already stored on the secondary memory device, and that data can be made as input to the program. And once the processing is done, the program will give us the results, that is information. That information again can be written onto another file. You can try to visualize something like this, right? Now, so far, what are we doing? We are performing, that is all the basic 3 operations, that is input, then process, and then the output, right? Now, so far, what is the process? For input, we are entering from keyboard. Process is being happening by the computer, by that particular program. Then the output is generated and just displayed onto the monitor. Now, if you look at this input and the output, they are not stored anywhere on the secondary storage devices. Are you getting the points, students, here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, to overcome this one, what we can do, instead of providing the input through the keyboard, we can provide it from the file. So there will be one particular file. Assume that, say, input.txt. Now, input.txt is what it is a text file. In that, I have stored certain numbers or certain data. That content of the file can be given as the input to our program. So now our program will take and it will try to process that data, and then it will generate the output. Now that output, the whatever information it has generated, it no need to display on the monitor. If it displays, then we will lose the data. Instead of that, we can put it onto one more file. We can call it to be a output.txt. When it happens so, our input and the output, what the program has generated, both are stored onto the secondary storage devices. That means what? Secondary storage device means the data is permanently stored on the computer, and anytime in future, if I want to look into what was the input I had given to the program for processing and what was the output it had given after processing, are available, and those data will be available with us permanently. In order to support this one, where input and output can be permanently stored on the computer memories, we need to make use of a concept called as a files. Understood the basic background about what is file and why the files are necessary in C programming?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, before I explain you how the files are used in C programs, let us try to understand the basic things about a normal files. I'm not referring to a computer files here. I'm just referring to a normal files. I can take a word as a synonym as your notebooks or your textbooks. Now, what are the things you can perform on your notebooks? What type of things you do on your notebooks? Why you use basically notebooks?
To write down.
To write.
To write. Okay. Is it only to write?
For reference.
For reference. So can I say that you use the notebooks or a fair books for performing input and output operations? Fair input means you want to read whatever is been written on that notebook. Write means if you want to write some more, if you want to put some more data onto the notebook, you do the output operation. That is writing some content onto the notebook. Right? This is one of the best synonym or an analogy I can use it here. Right? Your fair book can be used for the operations like input as well as output. Wherein input means you want to read the content from your notes. Output means you want to write certain content onto your notes. Are you getting my point, students?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now assume that, let me, give me a minute. I just want to show you something, simple things basically. Just a second. Okay. I hope you can see me now.
Yes, sir.
Now,
Yes, sir.
here I have a notebook. Right? Now, what is the purpose of having a notebook? In order to store the data permanently on this particular pages or in this particular notebook. As we just discussed, we can use the notebook for reading so that I can read the content, I can perform input operation, and I can use it for writing some content onto the notebook, that is output operation. Now, if I want to perform any of the operation, first, I need to recognize this as a file. Like in simple terms, we can think that, okay, now what you have different fair books. Like one fair book for the DS, one fair book for the web programming, right? One fair book for your English, like the different notebooks you have. Based upon which notebook you want, you may call them to be a corresponding subjects notebook. Now, since I want to read something DS, data structure fair book, then I have to identify by its name. For a human being, it's very simple, right? I can just see what cover page it has, or I could have even written the subject on the first page. Based upon that, I can just identify which particular notebook this is. The same way, in computers, every file, since it is stored on a computer secondary memory, it has associated with its name. Right? The best example is what? The C programs, whatever you have written so far. Before you execute the C programs, once you start writing the code, you give certain names to it so that it can be identified. For example, here, the name which I had given for one of the program is, say, 15 swap malloc. This is a place or a data which is stored onto the computer memory, and that memory is being recognized by the name swap malloc. Means every computer, if you want to store any type of a file, first we should have a proper name for that file. And every file have its own types. When I say types means what? A file can be a Word document file. If it is a Word document file, the extension will be what? .docx. If the file is an Excel sheet, then what will be the file extension? .xlsx, right? If it is a notepad, if it is a text file, then the file extension will be what? .txt. If it is a C program, it is .c, right? Every file in a computer has two parts. One is the name, which we will write just left-hand side of the dot. Right-hand side of the dot is the type of the file, right? So once a file is being identified, then I can perform input and output operation. Right? Now, coming back to the next concept, that is input and output operation. Now I have a notebook. I want to read it. Can I just simply read it like this? I have identified the notebook. I have taken it. It's in my hand. Can I read now?
No, sir.
Why?
No, sir.
Why I
So you
can't?
have to open it.
I have to open it. Very good. Now I have identified the notebook, but straight away I can't read or I can't write anything because I have not opened the notebook. Right? Once I open the notebook, then I can start my reading either from the first page or I can move on to any other page in the file and then I can start reading. Or if I have opened the file for writing purpose, then most of the time what we do, we will go to the end of the file where we have written last content. From that particular file, we will start writing the content. The meaning is that even we identified the files, right? First, we need to open them. Once we open, then only we can either perform input operation or we can perform output operation. Okay, now we have identified the files, we have opened the files, and we did one particular operation. Assume that we read some content on that. Next, what I need to do? Can I keep it like this only, opened?
No, sir.
What should be done?
We have to close.
I have to close. Means I have to close the file. Once I close the file, it says that, okay, the operations are being done, whatever it is, input or output operations, and the file is ready now. It is been updated. We can say if it is written, the document or the file is been updated with certain content. If it is read, input operation means the data from this file are read and passed on to the somewhere else for some activities, then the file is closed. The same procedures are applicable in file handling, even in C program. First, we need to identify the file by using its name. Secondly, what? We need to open the file. Until and unless we open the file, we can't perform any of the operations. Once the file is opened, then either we can do input operation or output operation. Once the operations are performed, then we need to close the file in order to save the content on it. So these are the 4 basic things that we need to perform or we need to remember whenever we are handling the files in C programs. Understood, students? The basic knowledge or the fundamental concept of a files.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
With this understanding, we will continue with our further discussions. Fine. These particular files, right? These files, in order to manipulate, like if I want to open a file, I require certain inbuilt functions, right? If I want to input certain data, or if I want to perform the writing operation, that is input and output operation, then I require certain inbuilt functionalities. Or if I want to close the file, then I require certain inbuilt functionalities. So basically what I mean that we require certain library functions. We require certain library functions, which will help us in what? Opening the file, performing input, output, performing the input and output operations, and then we can close the file. So in order to perform all these things, we need to have certain library functions. These library functions are supported in the same header file stdlib.h. The stdlib.h again is a standard library header file in which the corresponding library functions are defined. Using those particular library functions, we can perform input and output operations on the files. Understood, students?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now what I will do is that in today's session, I will just continue in how we can open the file and how we can close the file. The input and output operations, we will see into it later. Okay, so step by step, we will try to complete or try to understand the concepts here. Now, the first part, that naming, is already we have discussed. Like every file will be associated with its name and its extension. So name means, suppose if I want to save a C file by the demo.c, then I can give it as a demo.c. So demo.c means name of the file is demo, type of the file is C. I think this basic information or the knowledge you all have it. Once the file is there, then I can use it for, in order to perform input or output operation, I need to first open the file. Now let us try to understand how we can open the file. Open the files, how we can perform opening the file. Before we open the file, we need something like a pointer here, which should point to our file. Before I open the file, I need a pointer. Why basically I need a pointer is that now there is something called as a secondary memory. As we know that in the secondary memory, the files are stored, right? From secondary memory, I need to take that particular file and I need to give it to the primary memory. I need to give that content onto the primary memory for execution, right? From secondary memory, I need to fetch the file and give it onto the primary memory, either for input or output operation. So in order to do this one, I need a mediator here basically. That mediator is nothing but a pointer, which can point at a memory locations. Pointer means what? It contains the memory location, as simple as that. So what this pointer is going to be do? This pointer is going to be of the type as a file. Okay, now I can call it to be a file pointer, which will point to the memory address of that particular file. Once I do that, then I can open the file by using this particular file pointer. I can perform input operation by using the same file pointer. I can perform output operation by using same file pointer. And I can also close the file using the same file pointer. Like you can think that for every files which we use in file handling in C programming, it should associate it with a file pointer. The file pointer means it is something, the location of that particular file, which will help us in identifying the file and perform whatever activity we want to perform on that. Okay. Now, the basic syntax of declaring a file pointer is, it goes in this way. Type is file in uppercase. The data type, basically here it is a data structure. It is a file and then the name of the pointer. You can say it as file pointer is the syntax. Like how earlier, if you want to declare any pointer to an integer, we had written it as int asterisk ptr, right? In the same way, I want to declare it to be of a type of files, then I need to use the data type mandatorily as file. For an example, say if I want to open a file, then the example would be that first I need to declare a file pointer. I need to write something as file asterisk, I can denote it as FP. The FP indicates like, okay, star indicates it is a pointer. FP, I can easily understand that it is a pointer to the file. So this FP is what? It is a mediator, which can point to the memory location of the file, which I will be using for varieties of operations, like opening or closing or input or output operation. This particular file data structure is basically placed again in the same header file stdlib.h. Means what? If we want to make use of the files, we have to include the stdlib.h header file in our. Okay, now let us focus upon the opening of the file. There is a function called as fopen. There is a function called as fopen. What is this fopen? You can just see here the name. It says fopen, means open the file. If we want to open the file, then we should know something. We should know its name. We also should know what is the purpose of opening the file. If I want to open a file in programs, then I should know two things. One is, what is the name of the file? Second, what is the purpose of opening the file? That means this particular function accepts two different parameters. The first parameter and the second parameter. We already know this parameter means what? The parameters, or you can say it to be the arguments. The first parameter is always the name of the file. The first parameter is always the name of the file. Let me write it as a syntax as name of, or let me write it as simple terms, file name. And second is the purpose. The purpose is usually written as the mode, in which particular mode the file is being opened. There are different types of modes. For simple, let me try to make it very simple in this first class. We can assume that mode is input operation or mode is output operation. Means if I want to open a file for reading, then I can specify the mode as input operation. If I am opening the file for output operation, then I can specify the mode as output operation. I will tell you how we need to mention the modes. Okay. Now, once this is done, once I call this particular function fopen, this is going to return me the memory location of the file specified. It is going to return the memory location of this particular file specified. Since it is a memory location, then it should be stored in what? It should be stored in a pointer. Which can help me here? The FP, which we have declared earlier, this particular FP can now store the memory address which is being returned by the fopen. So now fopen means what? Fopen means open the file. It takes two arguments. The first argument is name of the file. Second argument is the mode in which we are opening. Name of the file means we can say, suppose for an example, name of the file could be what? Say input.txt, or to be more general, I can give it as text.txt. It is a notepad. Text.txt is the file. So this text.txt I need to specify here within the double quotes, then comma, and within the second parameter within double quotes, I need to specify the mode. Suppose if I want to open the file in for the input operation, then I need to specify the mode as R. The R here means that it is input operation or read the content from this particular file. Understanding the concepts, students?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, there could be a possibility that I try to open this particular file text.txt, but unfortunately, this file doesn't exist in the computer file system. If this particular file doesn't exist, then will this particular function fopen will give its location? It will not, obviously. Means if the file open, if it is an error. Error means if this particular file doesn't exist, then definitely I can't get the location of that. In such cases, the fopen returns some value. That value we call it as null value. We call it as null value. Okay, now understand now. We are in a one step ahead here. Fopen can open the file in the corresponding mode, right? Whatever mode we specify. Now fopen will return two things. One is if the file is present, it returns the location, that is the memory location, right? If it is not present, then it returns the null value. If it returns the null value means the file doesn't exist, we can't proceed further. So we have to stop all our activities. That is the meaning of that. If it is not null, that means, okay, the file is present, we can perform whatever intended operation. Since we have opened it for a read mode, input operation, we can perform the input operations and then we can close the file. Understood how we can open the file? The opening of the file can be done by using the function called as fopen. Now onwards, remember that fopen means opening the file. It takes how many parameters? Two parameters. The first parameter is what? Name of the file. Second parameter is what? The mode in which we are opening the file. Mode means the purpose. Is it an input operation? If it is input, make use of R there. Okay. Now, this fopen returns two things depending upon the possibilities. The first possibility is that if the file is present, then it returns its location and assigns that location to this file pointer fp. If the file is not present, then it cannot retrieve that file location. In such cases, it retrieves the null value, and that null value will get updated to file pointer. If it is null, then it is cannot perform further. We have to stop there itself. So we need to exit our program. Okay. These are the things related to the opening of a file. Okay, now assume that we have opened the file opening is successful, and we also did certain input and output operation. Once the things are done, we need to close the file, right? In order to close the file, then again, there is a particular function related to that. That particular function, we call it as fclose. We call it as fclose. Fclose will close the file, and it takes one particular parameter. That parameter is nothing but the file pointer. In this case, it is going to be fp. Fp means here it is a file pointer which is been pointing at the whatever file we have opened for whatever purpose it is. Once the input or output operations are performed, we want to close the file. In order to close it, we have to call the fclose function. Means close the function which is being pointed by the file pointer fp. Once it is done, then we can say the successfully the closing operation is done on that particular file. So just to summarize the things, first in our program, first we need to include the header file. Which header file we need to include? stdlib.h. Then second, in the main function, we need to first write our declare what? File pointer. How we can declare the file pointer? File asterisk fp. Once the file pointer is declared, then we can use it for pointing at particular files. Then we need to open the file. Open the file. How we can open? By using the function fp is equals to fopen, and it takes two parameters. The first parameter is the name of the file, say input.txt. Second parameter is the purpose for you opening the file. We can call it to be a read mode, that I will specify it as a R. Now, if fp is opened, that is if this particular file is opened, then it returns the non-null values. If it returns the null values, then the file opening is not successful. To check that, what we can do, simply we can write an if condition. If this fp is having null, that means the file is not opened. There are errors in file opening the file. In such cases, we need to just simply exit the program. We need to just exit from the program. We cannot perform any other activities. If it is not null, means the file is opened successfully, then perform the input output operations. After performing the input operations, close the file. So close the file can be done as fclose, then fp. So this is the summary of file handling here.